6:03 on my official satellite kept timepiece here, so I'd like to invite everybody as we come together and call this meeting of the Sunny Hills MSBU Advisory Committee to order. If you would please stand and let's for the invocation and pledge to the flag. Lord, thank you for this wonderful day, Lord, the opportunity to come together, Lord, and talk about our community and make decisions, and we just ask that you guide us and steer us in the right direction so that the things that we do is for the betterment of everyone and all of our community members and for good, Lord. We give you the praise and glory for all. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We all have a copy of our agenda. I found it at the door in the back there as we came in. I'm sure everyone has that. I need to ask that, again, just so that we can be more efficient in the future. I know that we've made some changes and some staff and things, so we certainly want to work to make sure that we're all communicating as a group, back and forth the way that we should. I had asked via email, and it may have been too late today, and I apologize, Jessica, for that, to add a few items to the agenda. I don't know if it may have been too late in the day. I didn't see where, I think one of the guys had said that we didn't get a request for anything. So again, we want to do what we need to do. Do we need to seek out Jessica?
I don't know that we need a request. I mean, you guys know it's meeting day. If you have things you want on the agenda,
okay,
send them in.
Certainly.
Yeah.
No problem with that. Just going off kind of what the protocol been in the past.
Sure.
What the plan was.
I understand.
So with that said, and again, I'm certainly not upset at all. I just wanted to state that. So I had a couple of items that I'd like to add, and basically they're just quick bullet points that we can just status update on. And for example, mowing is one of them, and I see that Mr. Finch is here. Just a quick report status on that. One of the things is going very well. So is there any formal thing that I need to do, or can I just mention those and write them onto the agenda? Sure. That'll be okay. If you all would, my fellow committee members and anyone in the audience, I'd like to add a quick conversation about the boulevard lighting status / Gulf Power agreement. We'll call that one item. So lighting, Gulf Power. Number 2, addition, AEDs status. And I know that Kathy has mentioned that she has a couple of tidbits of information she can share with us there too. Don't need to bring that one up. I want to add mowing to the list, please. Also, the status of our main entrance / fountain rehabilitation for a quick discussion. And to put a bow on or talk about something I brought up last meeting that we got an email on. I want to make sure that it's in the open about the golf club partnership / membership. So you just call it golf membership or something like that. And with that, again, I know this is probably not Robert's Rules of Orders necessarily, but I would invite any of my fellow committee members if there's anything that you see that you would like to add as a quick bullet point or discussion point for our meeting. Gary, Steve, or Kathy?
Yes, I do. Well, we discussed this way back when we started coming around the board. And there was, I guess, Hobbs was going to fix the solar lights.
Okay. So,
and because there were pieces of the parts that MSBU had purchased, and they were sitting back waiting for Hobbs to have some truck fixed or something like that.
Okay. So,
and I was just curious where that stood and it actually got done. Did they actually use the pieces?
Well, that is solar lights. We'll add on there for discussion.
Okay. I'd have to look back through my notes, but this was something way back like last September or something like that.
But I will find out. But I'd encourage you all to follow the agenda, the non-agenda audience, and then move down into your agenda items.
Well, I'm trying to get the agenda set to adopt it, right? I'm asking for bullet points only, not discussions
here.
I'm not asking for discussion. So, Steve, solar lights, you want to add it? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Is there anything else?
If we're adding, I'll add our procedure manual.
Okay. Procedure manual. Gary. Steve. Solar lights. Kathy, anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. With that said, we have added some topics to the agenda. So as part of adopting the agenda, do I hear a motion and a second to adopt our new agenda with these additions?
Make a motion to accept.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We have the new items on the agenda. All right, we'll move right along to our non-agenda audience for a moment. Is there anyone in the audience that has said they'd like to come forward and speak to our MSBU committee this evening? I don't see anyone raising their hand. I haven't gotten any forms so far, so that is a non-topic for this. All right, so we'll move right along to our agenda items, and we'll take them in order. So there's no problem with that. I know that one time in the past we had asked to see a status of our budget and balance, and Jessica, thank you. Jessica provided just a few moments ago some paperwork here, and I'm sure that anybody in the audience that would like to see that would be welcome to see that as well. So with that said, I'd like to invite my fellow committee members to let's have a discussion about this and or ask any question of Jeff or Commissioner that's here with us tonight. See where we stand there as far as the budget. I'd estimated last time we were here, just I felt to be conservative that we, based on the expenditures that we know about and the income from the MSBU, that we should be around the $500,000 range. Again, that was just a stab in the dark. But I don't know, Steve and I glanced this before the meeting, I don't know that we know exactly what we're looking at now. Jeff, is that something that you could help?
I can help you a little bit. This
Okay.
isn't my budget, but I'll tell you where I think we are tonight.
Yes, sir.
But 499,042 on the revised budget,
Where's that, sir?
that's going to be under your revised budget column there.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, that is what was certified last year, if you collected everything, okay? But that's not how much money you got, because the difference is how much you collect. And you can see that year-to-date actual next to that is 256,414. That's your actual, what you collect. So it's, don't be fooled when you see the 499. It's actually what you take in is what you can work with.
Okay, I agree with that. That's why I wanted to know this, exactly what do we have to break in? You can't spend money that's not in the checkbook, so
That's
to
right.
speak. But I just didn't understand these negative signs in front of things. That's all I was looking for. And that's why when I sent the message today, I know this came out afterwards. I'm a simple guy. I look at like a spreadsheet, say fiscal year October 1, this was the balance that was in there.
I'm the same way.
And go out, then I can say, okay, this is what I got coming in, this is what I got going out. Take the difference, that's how I play money. Then we can plan from there.
If I may offer a suggestion, and this could be pretty helpful to you, because I think I understand what each one of you are looking for. You want something very, very simple to look at, that will let you know exactly where you're at, how much you're taking in, how much is going out, and what you've got left.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
What I would encourage is designate one of the board members to be your liaison with the clerk's office. You put together these numbers and sit down with them and have them go through this with you. And at the same time, let them know what you would like to see. Because I think that's how you're going to get to where you want to go. If I put together these numbers and knew all these numbers, I haven't had any familiarity, much more than you, with these particular numbers.
Correct.
So I don't want to sit and tell you things that I can't speak on. But I would suggest if you would do that, and they would be more than happy, because first of all, this is all public information. Okay? Anybody can request this at any time. But to get to the specifics of how they derive to these numbers, that would be something I think you could sit down with them, and I'll be glad to attend with you, from my knowledge, and sit down and go through this and see if we can get where you guys want to be, as far as readability and common sense approach.
Which tax collector's office, you said?
Clerk's office, clerk report.
I've already been meeting with them, so I'd be happy to do that.
I'd have no problem with that. Gary, I'd be honored for you. Do you have opportunity and time to be able to do that, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Okay, well,
They've been very helpful so far. They changed that top number from the 390 to the 499 because that's actually what the number is.
yes, sir. I'm not pointing fingers or accusing anybody of anything, but I just don't understand how that's the number we're at when we were being formed a year ago, before any taxes came in. We had a budget balance of more than that then, and we haven't spent anything much. I just don't understand, and I think that's what Steve and Gary are talking about too, is to see expenditures. You know, we've got the mowing and the lights and the different things that we jotted down, but I don't understand that, Jeff.
Well, again, what I'm saying to you is, if you want those answers, we go to the clerk's office to get it handled. Brian, that's all we do.
Yeah, yes, sir. I agree.
And,
So-
you know, that's just my opinion.
No, I'm with you. I agree with you. That's what I want to know.
And that's why I say I'll be glad to go, when they set up a meeting, I'll be glad to attend. And
You good with that,
Jerry
sir?
and I can meet with them and go through this thing and see if we can't get you something that's a little bit more understandable for you.
Okay. Along this line of budget, if I can, I'd like to read a short email from a homeowner in Sunny Hills. I don't know this person. I don't think I do. If I do, the name's not ringing a bell to me, and I assume they would have been here tonight to speak. But it's very short, and they sent me an email because our emails are public, and that's fine, but it's also listed in the paper that goes out down there by the other group as they're spewing for people to contact us. And nobody has, and up until this point. And this guy's fairly respectful. He says, I've been a homeowner since 2012. I just recently moved down from Nashville, Tennessee. I've been receiving my newsletter for several years now. I'm quite concerned about the appropriation money, MSBU funds. I would like to see a detailed analysis of how this money is being spent or lack of in Sunny Hills. Is there an audit from the controller? What is the balance on those funds? I would like to see the advisory board provide this information at the next meeting. Looking forward to your reply. Thank you in advance. The gentleman's name is Eddie Brown.
No, you can send my reply.
Okay. Steve then, I don't know if I can pull it up. I screenshot that because it didn't go away. But Steve then replied with,
I pretty much replied, thank you for your concern, and I do invite you to attend the meeting on Tuesday night and voice your concerns at the MSBU meeting.
So did I.
right.
And he's not there.
He's not here.
So therefore,
Right.
no,
I
it's
al-
just noise, it's
That's
just
very
noise.
frustrating.
It's just
Yes,
noise.
yes, ma'am.
I also asked him where he lives because I did a search and couldn't find any Eddie Brown as a property owner in Sunny Hills, so.
Yes, sir. Right, and again, it could be somebody making up something. There's no way to know really, but I guess my point is, if this was legitimate, I'd want to be able to provide that information for them because we should be able to. So that's the kind of thing that, you know, we want to be open because of, especially because of the history and the bad blood down there. We want to do a good job for you guys, for the commissioners. I'm here. Yes, sir.
Brian, the clerk of court is the keeper of the budget.
Yes, sir.
She is charged by the county to keep those budgets. She's the one with all the information at hand. So, and everything that's she's got is all public information. So, you know, if you want to request her to come over here to a meeting and bring her clerk with her and all to explain all that, I'd request that. You know, she is a constitutional officer. We don't tell her what to do or when to do it or anything else.
Yes, sir.
She is the keeper of the budget, though. And we rely on her to give the information that we need. And like I say, any citizen of the county can request that from her. She'll be glad to give it to them.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner.
That's just what the county set up
Okay.
to do.
And that's fine.
Here, we don't, and Jeff don't keep a daily run of the budget, you know, she does. So whatever you get from her, and like I said, Gary's met with her, and he can probably give some information that he's got that's probably pretty accurate that today he met with her the last few days.
Do you have anything
I
else?
met with her on Tuesday and met with Johnny Pettis and the clerk were about, and they were both very helpful and said anytime that we need to speak with them, they're happy to talk to
I
us.
see the name Johnny Pettis there is the report generated by that individual. So, well, Gary, like I say, as we get requests like that, and we actually need to know where we're at too, as a committee member, if that's something you'd like to take on.
I'll do that, I'll happily do that.
Okay. Between now and our next meeting, obviously anytime, does that sound doable to you, sir?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And eventually, we'd like to get it on the website. I don't know how we go about doing that, but getting it on the website would let anybody look it up that wanted to.
Yes, sir. I mean, it should be, it needs to be transparent. It should be. Everything we do and say and have, should be, because it's ultimately the citizens. So with that said, Gary has said that he would research the budget and balance situation for us a little bit closer. Does anybody else have any comments or questions about that? We'll go ahead and move on from there. I think that's our biggest topic in many ways right now, is knowing where we're at, and as people approach us especially, our hands kind of feel tied in some ways. So Gary, thank you for that, sir. We'll move on to the next item that's on the original agenda there, the electronic sign. And Steve had been our go-to guy on the status of the electronic sign and bids for those. Steve, I'd ask you, sir, if you have any type report on the status of the electronic sign.
Well, I had gone forward and asked for an updated bid, which we did receive, and Jessica and Jeff have that also. But then we were looking, Jessica's been involved, we're in contact with that lady that was over here. Marcy.
Marcy Brock?
Yes, Marcy.
And she was, I guess, taking it to assist and go after a couple more quotes.
Okay.
And I don't know where that status is right now.
I'm surprised she's not here. She talked like she would be here and have some bids ready for us. But I don't have those bids. She didn't give them to me.
All right. So it's in the process. We're actually making baby steps, but we are moving forward.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you. With that, some of the items that I added earlier, I would like to, I think Jeff may be the person to ask about the status of our boulevard lighting / the Gulf Power agreement that we made about 6 months ago with Gulf Power. And I've not seen any change, and I just wondered if you guys had any kind of report from them at all.
I spoke to Connie Oglesby just before the meeting. Gary had reached out to Gulf Power a little bit earlier. Basically, when we were here last meeting, I told you exactly what Gulf Power told me, and I can tell you what they told me tonight. Everything is believed to be in, and so they're going to start scheduling the work. And it's all supposed to be here on Chipley Yard. They had to wait for several items that didn't come in timely like they planned, and she's going to call me tomorrow and update me after she checks that inventory list. But they were waiting on, there were some parts of the boulevard lighting that they were waiting on, and they were waiting on the decorative poles at the entrance. But she believes every bit of that is in, so the work should be beginning soon. I wish I could tell you more, but I can't control them, you know.
Yes, sir.
Well, we've asked, they were going to start up on Country Club and work their way out. So the decorative poles are not necessarily standing in the way right now, so we just want to get them started with the regular poles and get moving on them. And I think we're going to see some action within the next 2 or 3 days, quite frankly.
Okay.
I really do.
That sounds good. I appreciate that, Jeff and Gary both. Any other comments? Anyone else on the status of the Boulevard Lights or Gulf Power agreement?
I don't have a comment on that, but I would like us to consider a budget line item for the future, for our new budget that will be coming up later on this year, to add a line item for streetlights for other locations rather than the Boulevard. And I'd like to have that start off at $50,000. A dedicated light item. If we don't use it, we don't use it, but that would give us the opportunity to put a few lights in every year in the neighborhoods that need to have them put in.
Shenandoah and Elkham, some of the other main entrances.
Or intersections.
Well, actually, I asked the E911 coordinator to provide us with a map showing all of the houses in Sunny Hills, and it's a pretty big map. I didn't bring it with me, but it's pretty clear where the clusters of houses are. And Unit 4, up the old unit that has the sewer and water in it, up between Challenger and Country Club, is where the majority of the homes are, and they don't have any street lights in there at all, and we could start there. And this young lady that volunteered last week, or last meeting, to head up the committee, I think it would be perfect. And that streetlight study has already been done once, if we could just find it and get our hands on it. Actually, Mr. Zurika did that a long time ago. Now, I don't know if he still has it or not, but you might want to reach out to him and see if he has it. But the clustering of the homes is pretty obvious, and be pretty easy to go to a neighborhood and say, do you really want streetlights on your house? Because I lived on a corner all my life, I didn't want a streetlight on it.
Right, not everybody does.
But if they want them, then get 3 or 4 put in this year and 3 or 4 the next year and move forward with it. So if everybody's agreeable with that, I'd like to have that added as a budget line item as we do our budget.
I don't know that we're ready to make that decision just yet. I agree with your desire to enhance and add to our lighting. But personally, I don't know that I agree with that kind of a concrete figure when we can't, that's, you know, a third of what our budget is now. So until we get that sorted, I'm afraid, personally, you guys are outnumber me, but my thoughts are I agree with your goal. I think we should begin to look at adding lighting, but I don't know that putting a number on it just yet.
Okay, we'll get the budget straight and then do that.
Do we know how much lights are, and how many lights would that furnish?
Okay.
Well, we need to get a quote from Gulf Power.
See, first off, if you do it, like I pay for my own lights in front of my house,
Right?
We do too.
okay? All I did was call Gulf Power, told them I wanted a light installed there, and they came and installed it, and they just upped my electric bill $6 or $7, or whatever it was.
Right.
So if that's the case, we're not gonna be, if they got poles already in place, telephone poles are, and that's all you gotta do is add the lights to the poles, you're not installing new poles.
But I
Okay.
think the lights
So-
that you get for a privacy pole are quite a lot different than the street lights that would be provided for an actual street light, I think. We just need to get a quote from Gulf Power as to how much each one would cost.
Sure.
Well, it's actually street lights, that we had put on our street. We had 2 installed, and it's like $9, say $8 something a month. So it's not really.
It's really not much. If each homeowner, especially on these little side streets where 3 or 4 families live on, would get their own if they wanted it. It's not very expensive, so I agree. We don't have one, we got a little in the yard. So my thoughts, and again, this discussion, certainly I'm one person, but we know that everybody funnels in on one of 4 or 5 entrance points into Sunny Hills. So it would seem, that Elkham and or Shenandoah might be where we look next potentially to do that kind of entrance safety. I don't know.
No, I agree with Gary. If you have houses, you want to put them around the house, that's security also. Things lit up, security. I understand that. My thing is, I don't see us going and installing all like poles like along Boulevard throughout all the way the houses are.
No.
Right.
If there's existing telephone, just slap them lights on, like the ones I got, and just go from there.
Absolutely.
And we
Yeah.
don't. And we do it at intersections of the roads,
Now,
to
if
light
we
the
wanna
roads
add
up. Not-
poles, we do it at the main intersections where there's a stop sign.
We have lights about every 200 feet on the boulevard. I've looked at some of those blocks. You'd need one light would cover a whole block, and and around the corner another light would cover another whole block. So, if we put 10 in this year, and whatever.
Right.
Well, it's something to think about.
Yes, sir.
I've heard 2 of the board members say, you've called Gulf Power, it's costing you less than $10 a month
Right.
to have a street light.
Right.
How many residents in Sunny Hills have done this? And what are you saying? That you're gonna pay for the future residents' lights?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, why should we have to pay if other people are not going to have to pay?
Right.
Just something to think about, because it could cause a,
And that's right. That's why it's a good
It's a
discussion.
personal choice.
Because some people may not want a light in front of their house on these side streets. They might even that. So, again, we'll do what we decide as a committee and as a group. I think these are all legitimate discussion points, but I would think your main entrance is like Boulevard, Hill County, Shenandoah would be the place to start. With community safety lighting. I don't know. So, can we agree to make this a topic? We'll just call it additional neighborhood lighting and just kind of float that into a future meeting?
You can do that. It is one of the things that's allowed under the original ordinance.
Okay.
The street lighting is one of the priorities that the residents asked for when they voted the MSBU in the very first time.
Sure. Certainly. Okay.
I'm all for it.
Well, if you guys like that thought now, I do appreciate you bringing that up. So we'll call that kind of its own topic. We'll call it additional street lighting. Is that okay with you guys to visit later? And Gary, I'll ask you or anybody really to kind of keep a tab on that. That's not something that I'm overly concerned about now. So I would encourage you to help us stay up to speed on that.
Okay, well, we'll know more after we get the next budget.
Yes,
so.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that addition. Next topic, the status of our AEDs. I think that Miss Kathy here has a little bit of information to share with us in reference to AEDs.
The only information I have is that I talked to Dwight Worthington today, asked him if the golf club had one there already, and he said no. If that's someplace where we think we want to put one, he said that he would have to get it okay with the powers that be there at the golf club before we could put it there. But he didn't have a problem with it at the moment. So.
We also, we checking legally whether we can do
I
that.
did.
Mhm.
I did.
And the outcome of that was,
It was, the legal advice could have gone either way. So I erred on the side of the board, saying that because the golf course serves the public, not just Sunny Hills residents, but everybody that comes and golfs there, probably to put one there with the permission of the other folks as a public service.
Yes, sir. Okay, good.
And Dwight had a concern of whether, if it was there, if anybody would need special training. And so there's a Florida statutes about AEDs, and it's pretty much just covered under the Good Samaritan Act.
Yes, it is.
They kind of recommend you have training, but it's not necessary.
When you
to use it.
when you pull those, that thing will give you step-by-step instructions on what to do.
I've had some
Sure,
training on it.
Yes, sir.
see, I was telling the board, I went as far as made the offer that if we could not put it anywhere else, the one that we have left, that offer up to be put down at Boat Lake for the summer. We got people going on, residents and out of towners, go swimming, but that would be a good place if you need one. Of course, that didn't go very big either, but I just offered it up just to keep you all informed.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody need any clarification or information on what Steve's talking about, or are we good to scoot?
Let it go with that.
Scoot on. Okay, good. Thank you for that offer to the community area there. Kathy, okay, you pointed out the liability is not there because it's under the Good Samaritan clause that we all learned about, first aid and CPR. It kind of falls into that same category. Okay, that's good. Good information. Perfect. All right. Well, that's all the AEDs. Then we need to request another one, or we?
Need extra copies.
Thank you, ma'am.
I had researched it way in the beginning.
That's cool. Yeah, I thought I had recalled that was sort of under the Good Samaritan deal. Any further comments, questions, or status questions that we have for Jeff on our number of AEDs and locations or anything before we move on?
I think we go with that right now, we just gotta do something with it.
All right.
Rather than just have it sitting in the room.
Mr. Cotton, can you tell me where the other two are?
That's a very good question.
The other two, one is located in the fire truck, the additional fire truck, so that if they go in two different directions, they both have one now. And the other one is located at the county annex building, the library.
Library.
Sunny Hills Library.
Right. Does that answer your question? The library area and then the fire truck mobile with the fire department personnel down there.
And if I had a sign, everybody in Sunny Hills would know where they are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll move along now to the other topic that I have, and that is mowing and work being done along our main corridor areas. And I saw Mr. Finch is with us today. We appreciate you showing up, sir. And really, I just want to comment again that of all the things that we're trying to do and want to do and have done, this seems to be one of the items that is being done very well and right. And we appreciate your service to the community. I noticed that I mentioned last meeting that Mr. Finch sends me a quick note, and I'm honored by that as the chairperson when he or his crews are going to begin work and when they complete work on certain cycles. And as we all have probably noticed, they began, I believe, last week on the first mowing cycle of the season, you might say, and completed, I believe, early this week or late last week, maybe. Yep. So that's all been done. Our main areas that we talked about, the main entrances in the country club and all those places there. So my comments are great job, and thank you for your continued service, sir. Any questions or comments on the status of our mowing contract and work being provided? Okay. We are often pressured to, as we get into more of a growing season, to possibly provide mowing in other areas, and then when we get to that point, we'll discuss that with commissioners and Jeff and everything, and see if it's, obviously the county has agreed that there's some providing that can take place in the county level, but if we need to ask Mr. Finch to provide additional services, we'll discuss that at a later date. That's okay as we get into the summer if we can't keep up with that. So. Next topic, I asked to be brought up to date on the status of getting access to the land in which the main entrance and the fountain are located on. I mentioned that I had 3 bids created and submitted several months ago to have that area rehabilitated, but there was a holdup legally based on Deltona still owning the property and looking to us lease that from the county.
We have got the lease back. As a matter of fact, I got it today. I have not read it. I do want to read that lease and make sure that just what our responsibilities would be according to Deltona, because it will affect, that could affect cost. But I'll read that, and real soon we'll be able to go ahead and do it. I will talk with legal tomorrow and vet it with them and make sure that even though they have looked at it, I want to read it and talk to them as well. So that we do have it back now. So we'll make a little progress there.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments regarding the status of our main entrance and fountain rehabilitation plans, desires? Okay.
When I did talk to Dwight today, he said that just Deltona is waiting to hear back from the county about whatever the boundaries of the parcel.
Okay? Not sure what it means by that.
It kind of falls in line with what you're talking about, Jeff, getting with legal about the terms of the lease agreement, maybe?
Is he talking about what we call the football field behind the fountain? Remember they didn't want Mitchell to mow it anymore, all that stuff? I don't know if that comes with the deal or not, I haven't read it.
And Dwight kind of explained that to me again too, that his initial phone call to me about Mitchell mowing was that he just didn't want any nasty rumors about it. If Mitchell mows it, that Dwight didn't have, and Deltona didn't have any problem with us mowing that parcel. He just didn't want any
Okay.
gossips, any,
I went ahead and voted.
yeah. So they didn't have any problem with us mowing that parcel. It was just Dwight being extra careful about any
What Deltona doesn't have
money
is a
conflict.
signed lease by us. So we just received it, I did today, so we haven't even had an opportunity to get it signed.
I think we may be able to talk about it more at workshop.
Yeah.
If it's possible, we would approve it at the next meeting next week.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No, well, tomorrow's gonna be our actual meeting.
Oh, I know you did.
Because of spring break, remember March, I had one?
Okay, we can vote.
It's both, yeah.
I could bring it in there tomorrow, it's not that big. I just want to read it.
Yeah, but if we get it read and decide it's good enough for the legal to do right, I'll bring it up tomorrow night.
I think we talked about that area where the fountain is, as well as the football field area behind it too, because of maintenance and also because of placement of our sign. When we establish the situation with our sign, I think the sign that's there now is actually in the perfect spot. So it'd be good for us to have the rights to that piece of land as well.
That's the city association.
We ain't messing with that, fine, let me say.
Where else would you suggest?
Oh, being that possible, if they want to keep their sign there, that's fine. They're not gonna get, that's just no bad juju.
Okay.
I don't think Brian was suggesting that we take that
Well,
sign down, were you?
I didn't say that necessarily.
I don't think so.
That's what I thought he was suggesting.
No.
There's not really any reason for two, but yeah, we can certainly cross that
That's a
bridge
whole-
at some other point, yeah.
I've actually,
It's a whole different groups.
It's a whole,
sign.
yeah, it's a whole, they want their
For a whole
sign.
different
see,
purpose.
but my whole thing with getting the sign is a community sign. The civic association, we put their bulletin
Yeah.
on our sign,
Right.
so they didn't have to worry about that. And that's what they all gotta, this is like goes for everything.
So the partnership with them and their activities would be good to be on our side
If
as
they
well.
wanna grow up and play like adults, then we can do that.
Yes, sir. Okay, any more comments, questions on the main entrance / fountain rehab status? You good there?
Just need to keep in mind that when we get that parcel for the fountain, that it includes the two little walls on each side. On the north and the south of the fountain, just because we want to keep that looking the same as the center part. Like Dwight called them the wings.
Wings. Okay, we'll move on now, and I wanted to get some information from Jessica or Commissioner or Jeff on the status of what I had proposed last time. Again, just as sort of brainstorming issue of being able to provide a partnership, semi-membership, partial membership to the golf club for MSBU members. And so that selling point, I don't know how you want to look at it. People say, if you live there, you're a partial member. Sometimes we can work out the details of that. So I think you guys are going to review the status in which that would be something to be a possibility for us to do.
According to legal, it's not.
Right. Jeff already let us know that anyway, I thought.
In an email, right? Okay. So, you guys have stressed that this is our meeting.
Okay.
And so I wanted to make sure that we knew what it was and what the final answer was.
So it's a-
Okay. I don't understand why it can't be when it's one of the truest forms of spread amongst every homeowner, lot owner, a proposal like that.
Because it's a private organization, it may not. That'd be my guess. That would be the only reason I'd guess that. It's a private organization that you're purchasing something into versus, if you're doing a park or you're doing lighting and all that, that's all stuff that can be either government owned or most times government owned.
Yes, sir.
It has to benefit every property owner equally, and
It actually would more than just about anything else we do if you get to play that
I
part.
disagree with that completely. I think it's of little value whatsoever to the value of our lots or the sellability of anything. No, I don't think so at all.
The ability to have golf there in general is going to have the value of the lots. The price of it's different, If you buy a place in Bay Point, your price will be this. Just the ability to have a golf community is a selling feature in its own. So I think the price is going to be a selling feature at all to the person that's coming in to play or to live there.
I could see a person in New York would want us to subsidize an equal amount to his golf club where he lives up there if he's a property owner here. because it's a benefit to all the property owners.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Steve, you asked to add the topic of solar lights in the neighborhood, and I think you began to discuss it, and I heard a little chatter, so if you would.
If you all remember back at the very beginning, I was trying to find notes. I wrote too many different things down getting started. And when Sal was here the first couple of times, and he's the one who brought it up, and the items were purchased to fix the solar lights, but I guess it's Hobbs that was doing it?
I think it might have been Hasty.
Hasty.
Got information on it. We have to get with Jack, I remember what you're talking about.
Right.
And Jeff, you get with Jack, or Jess can get with Jack and find out where she was at on those lines and how that stands, and get back with you on it.
Right, they may have been fixed by now, I don't know, it's just one of those things
Jack
that...
was working on it, so.
What Hasty went to the bucket truck?
Right, exactly, that's, yeah.
Let
So-
Jessica contact Jack and find out what the status is, and I guess we need to get somebody in to see him.
We'll track that down.
Okay, because like I said, the items were purchased, they were just waiting to be installed.
If somebody down there could ride around one night a little bit when it's dark, find out that.
I don't even know where they're all at, to tell you the truth.
There's one on Sunny Hills Boulevard, I know. There's one at Davenport and
It's supposed to be like,
Shenandoah.
there's supposed to be like 7 of
It
them.
doesn't work.
Shenandoah and
Concord.
Concord.
That one's been
If you
working.
haven't seen one, write it down.
Yeah.
Send it to
I'm
us.
sure Sal probably give it to somebody, if somebody make contact with, talk to Sal on a regular basis and see.
We're best buds.
But those are the only three that I know of.
I think there are like 6 or 7.
Yeah, but I don't know where they're at.
I'm not sure where they all are either, but Jackie knows where they are.
But that was it's just one of those things that we discussed, that's unfinished, I just want to check that box and move on.
Yeah, if they're there, we either need to repair them and use them or sell them.
No, like I said, this happened so long ago in the very beginning.
We got it now, we're on it.
All right, thank you.
Maybe in the future, we
Next subject, move on.
convert them to regular electric lights and
Yes,
not
sir.
have to worry about them anymore.
Okay.
It'd be cheaper.
Yeah, they sound good in theory, but to replace the parts is where the expense is, right? Okay, we'll move on from that. Gary had asked to add procedure manual to our agenda, so Gary, if you would, sir.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we were tasked with when we first started was to approve a procedure manual. And I think I provided you all with the one that's already been accepted by the county commission, and thought maybe you'd take a look at it and see if there were some things that you might want to change. If not, if we don't want to change anything, then I think we should just reaffirm that that's the procedure manual for the MSBU as we were tasked to do. And that has a lot of our procedures. That talks about who's responsible for agendas and all kinds of things. So it would be helpful if we move forward and get it approved.
This thing?
Yes. Some of it's out of date. We don't have a coordinator anymore. But we may have a coordinator someday again, so we may want to not do anything with it, but I'd have you, ask you to take a look at it before our next meeting and make some comments if you have them, and I'll email one to Jeff and he can maybe email you.
Is it like PDF or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Word
it's a-
file? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
it's a-
Okay, thank you, Gary. Yeah, that's very important that, you're right, things change.
I would need a copy also.
Okay.
Get another copy?
I just emailed it and it was sent out by the staff to you. I'll make sure that you have another
Send it,
one.
then we can send it to the whole board.
We just make copies of it.
It's a 55-page document. I hate to see the county have to print 300 pages or something when we can just email it, but whatever.
Well, that is the end of our agenda items. There is a spot for our county administrator.
I wanted to remind you guys that Saturday, from 8 to 12, we're having our amnesty day at the recycling center. So anybody you talk to that has old solvents or has household hazardous waste, oil, they can bring it. They're allowed 4 tires plus a spare. They have old tires. We'll have a place for that, but we had it last year, so people are familiar with it. So it's going to be from 8 to 12 this Saturday, and we're looking for a big turnout again this year. And let folks know it's not for the local auto shop to bring 400 gallons of oil. It's for households and residents. We can accommodate some of that. Those folks got to pay. Residents don't.
Yes, sir. And that's not just Sunny Hill, that's Washington County.
That's Washington
Yes, sir.
County. But, you know, the recycle centers in close proximity to Sunny Hill, so hopefully we'll have pretty weather and people will bring their stuff. So.
Yes, sir. Well, is there anything else from my fellow committee members that you'd like to say or share before we adjourn?
I do have one more item.
Yes, sir.
I would like you also to consider a separate line item for adding fire hydrants to the MSBU area. That is another one of the original topics that was approved by the voters when they voted to have the MSBU. And I reached out to the water company today to see if I could get a quote on how much each one would cost. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I did a little research online. It looks like about $4,000 or $5,000. And again, I'd like to put $25,000 or $50,000 in a separate line item as an ongoing procedure to put new fire hydrants in where they need to be. It'll help everybody's ISO rating. And again, I'll wait with the number till we've got the budget completely set. But I'd like to see a line item added to our budget to add some fire hydrants.
Gary, if you would make sure that that's a topic that you hang on to and present as we create our agenda in future meetings, especially since you're the one that's going to be reaching out on the budget for us.
I will.
So that's actually perfect that you would.
I'd like to add one too. Y'all discussed it last month. You might want to look at a line item for roads. We talked about that, and you know, in areas where there's some concentrated housing that have road issues,
Yes, sir.
you might want to, just a consideration.
Thank you, I agree with that.
Yeah.
That is another one of the original aspects of the MSBU.
And that's why we need a budget, because if we're gonna do roads, it's gonna chew up anything that's left over. And a lot of the things
We're
don't
going to work
end
on
up.
that. We're going to get that straight.
Well, if we just do one a year, one block a year, it's progress from people that want to have their roads fixed.
That's right. That's right.
And there is a road matrix out there already. I think Jeff now has that in his hands. It was produced years ago, and it's still very valid. It hasn't changed. The roads are still the same.
Or worse.
Or worse. Well, it's still, the ones that were bad are worse now, and the ones that were good are bad now.
Commissioner Hawkins, at the start of our meeting, one of the things we talked about was the status of the budget and balance there, and we just, we decided that Gary would reach out to the clerk of court to try to get us a little more updated information on where we stand in terms of almost like a checkbook balance situation. Because when you guys called us together about this time last year, you know, we were in the $350,000 range then with money to spend, and we spent very little. And now this is showing us that we have actually $100,000 less than that. So it just doesn't seem right based on the numbers we're having here. So we're really struggling with that. And people are reaching out to us in the community to provide this information, and our hands are really tied. So,
No problem.
Yes, sir.
They definitely have the cash flow, cash carry forward, cash flow in, cash flow out.
Yes,
To
sir.
show you where everything is spent and everything else.
okay.
But, I know I was just speaking of your budget. Have y'all thought about your budget workshop? I mean, you're getting into that time of the year where you know what funds, y'all are, unlike the county, y'all know what your funds are gonna be pretty well annual, you know, or close to it. So if you're gonna put a budget together, ain't no time like the present to really start thinking about it and getting something put together for y'all to have set in stone by next budget year. but we're gonna start working on ours. And I know it's a long process, and everybody's got their opinions of what needs to be done, and every one of your community members got an opinion what needs to be done in the budget, so definitely, I'd like to see y'all start thinking about that in the next budget season. So y'all-
Well, that's why we're adding these line items. Before you came, we added one for putting more streetlights on out in the neighborhoods, and we're gonna budget those and submit it. But we wanna make sure the numbers are right first. And I met with Johnny earlier this week, and she and Laura were both very helpful and said, come on in and let's talk, so.
Well, with that said, anybody else have any comments or questions? Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question. We talked about Wilder Park a while back. Is that a dead issue? Whatever happened about it?
My take on that is there continues to be confusion as people want to say that everything we do should benefit everybody equally. I give the example of the golf club partnership membership, regardless of where it's spent, that would benefit everybody equally, but people are saying we can't spend money on county property. So to answer your question, I don't know where we stand, and I'm not even clear on what we can spend money on. So with that, do you guys recall the status situation of Wilder Park enhancements?
I can tell you this. I can tell you that the county wants to have nice parks for everybody, and we do. But I can tell you this, I don't think they're gonna continue to support us going out and fixing it up and making it nice, and come back the next weekend and the urinals are torn off the wall.
My suggestion would be a security system. I know y'all spoke about
Yeah, we
that.
had talked
Right.
about
Talked
that.
about
We
security.
talked about a security
Right.
system.
And before y'all put a penny into anything down there that's gonna be permanent, I'd like to see y'all be able to secure your assets, you know, or at least
Document it with a video.
document who did it, or at least, the police. They put a substation down there.
Exactly, I was just gonna say, I was waiting for it. We had tabled that until they decide what they're doing with the substation, if they're gonna have a full-time or more, so, presence there, keep an eye on it also. Put
Did you say
in,
they put it? It's-
Yeah, the substation's in. The substation in your community center.
okay.
In the office.
I checked into the security part of the cameras.
Yeah.
That's totally doable, but here's your problem. You put a camera up, it's gotta be hooked to a recorder. Because it don't matter if it shows who's there at the point, if you can't see it after the fact.
Right.
And then when you catch them, and it's not gonna do any good unless you prosecute them. That's the kind of issues we have to make sure we understand before we go into it.
Well, if we find somebody destroying our parks, we should prosecute them.
I agree.
I don't think there should be any question about that, no matter who it is.
Yep. I thought too that when the fountain is rehabilitated as well, a security camera there so that we send a message to the knucklehead that wants to put soap in the fountain. And also, send that message to that person as well. And that'll stop that pretty quick. So now security would definitely be, security camera, surveillance camera would be good for Wilder Park as well.
Again, you're gonna have to have a recorder somewhere. Somebody's gonna have to be responsible.
Aren't those remote now? I mean, cameras will send it someplace, I think, to the cloud or,
Spend some money.
yeah.
I think the issue could be though that we'd need internet there.
Possibly.
I know Travis Hall put some in, and I'm not recommending anyone, so just take the name out of the question. But I know he put some in for the city of Walsall at the Possum Palace. And so it's doable, wireless back to the city hall. So if you wanted quotes on that, that's very doable, because they did in Walsall.
And after doing that, they cost me.
Yeah, they've already
Good
deterred
input.
or,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those were done through juvenile court, but,
Mhm.
and through teen court, but yes, they were prosecuted.
But the word gets out really quick. You know,
We have somebody in our neighborhood destroying stuff.
Well, guys, I think we're exactly at 1 hour, so we've done real well tonight. So if there's nothing else that nobody would like to share, I just want to, in closing, I want to say as the chairperson that I feel that Steve, I think, said baby steps, and I agree with that. I'm an optimistic person, but I feel like that we just continue to make very little progress in these meetings. And, you know, we were told a year ago, you know, you got things to do, you got money to spend, and we're not allowed to do anything. So I don't know if the answer is that we need some type administrator, like we talked about, or what. But we just need to be able to move a little better. And the county attorney at one time was coming, but we haven't seen that person in a long time. So your
That's
thoughts?
probably it. You know, you got to understand that you just started an organization. I think you put your lights up thus far, or you got your light contract started.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You got your, right away. I think we're going to review that tomorrow, aren't we?
Yes, sir. For the fountain
Or
area?
the fountain area. You know, you're moving in the right direction. And just keep up with it. And find some progress that you want to do. Yeah,
And we've got the mowing, too.
The AEDs.
Here's what I would suggest.
Yes, sir.
I'll suggest to Gary, let's set up something to go to the clerk. Let's get this budget thing tied down. You guys get your administrator. You can do that. To handle your day-to-day business and follow up on the project. Because I'm gonna tell you what, what y'all do is very important. But it's put in the process with 1,000 other things at the same
Absolutely.
time.
I agree.
So it does, you know, but I get where you're coming from, because I understand you get pressure from the community, they want to see some results.
And they should.
They should.
Yes, sir.
But there's a lot of these things that I can't control, or Jessica can't control. I cannot put you on a timeline and tell you Gulf Power's gonna be there on this date, because I don't know when Gulf Power's gonna be there. They can give us a proximity, and we have that now, and we think that's gonna happen very quickly. And I think once that starts happening, some of the pressure will be alleviated from you guys as far as the public's concerned. But I will tell you, Gary, we get this worked out, and I'll go with you. I think that it's gonna open the door for y'all to make some decisions that you feel might benefit what you're doing and speed things up.
What you got to understand with your budget is once it's certified in here at the tax collector's office is one figure, but you're not collecting that figure at all. So that, if we put that budget out to the general public and they look at it, they're gonna wanna know where that $499,000. Well, they don't understand that when we assess it, that doesn't mean we're gonna get it. So you have to be careful with what you let the general public see without explaining all that to them. And it's a little complicated when you look at that budget you've got in front of you, unless you're used to looking at those every day. And it changes. And see, Deltona won't pay their fees until like in October. And that gives you a big shot in the arm, see, in October, but it's not there yet.
There's $12,000, and they never will be collected, they're often the 400 lots the county owns.
Right.
You know, so,
But it's still assessed.
it's still assessed every time.
We talked a while back about possibly, helping the county sell those lots some way. I don't
We love
know.
stuff.
Sir?
Yeah, we love stuff. We put them out for bid, and we don't get much.
So you did, they are put out for bid?
We don't get much.
Yeah.
We've got a list in there now that's, like,
So is this list on the website? Because I tried to find it, but I was not able to. I just saw a notation to contact the county in regards to land that is,
I think Jeff,
To be
Jeff's
sold,
working on
there's
it
no-
on our website, so.
I just received the tax assessment, and we do have a list of, the board has to determine what they want to advertise, but whether they want to advertise for things over, lots over 5,000, lots under 5,000.
Dollars?
Yeah. So that's one of the things we're working on now. Matter of fact, it's on the agenda.
Okay. Off the record, as a citizen of Washington County, resident for many years now, I'd probably want to pick up one or two if it's in a certain spot. I want to see them on a map, though. You know what I mean? I may own a corner that's near something else for, I don't know.
yes.
I don't know, no agenda. I'm just saying out loud to help get back on the tax roll, but
I can tell you, we have well over 300, don't we, Steve?
Almost
Over 300
400.
lots in St.
Almost 400.
Almost 400.
And that list is there. It tells whether there's sewer, whether there's water, whether it's level, whether it's on a paved road, whether there's more than one lot together, contiguous with each other. It's been very comprehensively done, and it has cross streets and locations and everything.
Yes, sir.
Listen, we've got oceanfront property in Sunny Hills, come see me. I'll fix it.
Well, and again, this wasn't a topic, but it was a good discussion because it deals directly with our neighborhood and county partnership, if you will. So, well, with that said, again, I just want to close and say that I feel like that I just think we should be able to make, nothing looks different than it did when we started a year ago, you know, roughly out there on the boulevard or anywhere. And that's, you got to feel our frustration.
When you did have issues like Gulf Power now, this equipment that they have ordered, what's it been, 90 days since you got it?
That's more than that, sir. It was before our Thanksgiving meeting got canceled, so it was September, October.
Okay, well, it still takes time. That stuff's not set and just ready like Walmart to ship out the door down there. So it's here and they've had a shake up too. When you deal with people like Gulf Power, you don't really go tell them what they're going to do.
Right.
So you're kind of at their mercy and it's been, you know, I think, you know, in the works a good while, like you, but still, it's here now. And they're still waiting on a few pieces, and of course, they promised us they'll start to work, you know.
Just for discussion purposes, what would the classification of an administrator, I think we call it?
But I think coordinator.
Coordinator. What would that entail? What would it cost? I mean, what is that?
Senior manager.
I'm not a coordinator.
No,
It's in the procedure.
It's in the procedure manual, yeah, it's all in there. What is the job description and,
Is the salary even, or?
well, there was a salary at one time, but it, you know, it's
Well, it depends on what you want.
it's been 10 years since
If you
we've
want
had one.
somebody to just run down stuff for you, report back to you and keep you updated, versus a person that is going to help manage the organization, are two different things. And so you do a job description of what you want and you search that person out. And I think that'll dictate what you can pay.
That would give us a contact point for people to call when they have complaints or suggestions.
And their job would be to call every day till they get 3 bids on a sign. You know, they got time, that's basically their job, or to call Del Thomas, hey, this is Joe Blow down here at,
Miss Brock,
yeah. I mean,
she seems to go get her.
And I'm sure with that substation down there, we can supply an office for them, you know, they can use down there. And provide security too. Yeah.
It's all very clearly explained in the procedure manual, what their duties are. and-
yeah, I might Steve, if you
If
would
I'm
here.
not mistaken, there's an office floor coordinator, when y'all do that community center, office for the sheriff, there's 2 offices in there.
Yeah,
One
there's
of them
2
was-
offices.
I think one of them was 4 y'all's coordinator.
I just know that would get things, you know, no disrespect to anybody in the county office. So you guys, like you said, that we're one of 1,000 things that need to be done, and I know that, but we're a big, important part of the county.
Well, let's finish with this real quick. I know I can speak for the board on this one, and I don't usually do that, but this is a relatively new board that this board created, my board created. You're experiencing growing pains, and you're going through some things that some people, they've never been done before.
Right.
I think we all want to see you guys grow and manage yourselves and be fruitful and do really well. So whenever you guys decide to get off the board, the next board inherits something that's really working for y'all and the county. So we all have to work together. And we just have to work, you know, take our steps to get things done.
I think the best idea y'all said is coordinator. I like that idea. That means that y'all will have someone that reports directly to each and every one of you. And if I was in your situation, I won't have somebody that I'm tasking with the responsibility not expected in a timely manner, that I control. Man, my hat's off to y'all, get you a good one.
Well, as part of the duties were managing inmate crews and things. We're not doing that anymore. So that, but it doesn't say that we won't in the future. But
Right.
pardon?
It sounds like you need to rewrite the procedure.
Well, that's that's why I've asked them to look at it and see if they think that there are things that need to be changed. I've made some changes of my own, but I'm not the only one here. But it is a valid document that's been accepted by the county commission, and right now, it's the one. It's our guiding.
And my question, the whole thing is, to update that procedure manual, we have to do it in this setting, right?
Y'all have to bring that there, then bring it.
Yeah,
We can't like, the five of us get together and
No.
hash it over and write it,
No,
bring it,
no,
and then bring it forward.
No, and no
That's why-
emails either.
We're talking about getting stuff done. That's just that,
You're not allowed to
that's the
talk
reason I brought that up. Talking about getting stuff done, we're slow. Just getting that procedure manual done, you're talking a year down the road. Because we're gonna talk about a little bit here, a little bit there, it's like,
That's not true. You can make your comments and send them to Ms. Hawkins or to
Or your
Mr. Massey, and they can send them out to us. We just can't talk amongst ourselves. They can do that.
We could schedule a workshop though and meet and do the same
We
thing.
could,
Anybody can
yeah.
come that wants to
that's
come,
the
right?
reason I never got.
Yeah, I know.
But, yeah, if you got a document there that worked in the past, I wouldn't see why it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I think each of you need to read that document and make
Make your
some notes
notes.
on it and bring it up with the, put it on the agenda and talk about
Yep.
it and see if you can
Get it
tear it
done.
down and approve it.
Alright, get it done.
Well, and for example, Compass Lake in the Hills over in Jackson County is similar, but theirs is an MSTU, taxing as opposed to benefit. I mean, there's probably some differences in that, or probably major differences, I don't know.
The fire and EMS, all that can be done.
Them or us?
Them.
Well, they got a property manager over there that's paid.
They have their own road crew.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying be like them at all, I just don't know what we need to call it. Like this, people said, we can rename it, rewrite it, I mean, I don't know, we
But
got to
taxing unit, I think, can own property and equipment, and MSB you can't.
Okay.
An MSBU is an assessment organization, and an MSTU is a taxing. Those are different.
Yeah, taxing and stuff.
We have two lots over there.
Yeah, we do. Okay, well, there's nothing else. At this time, I'd like to say that the Sunny Hills MSBU Advisory Committee, we need to set our next meeting date. Let me do that before we move on. Jeff, a lot of times we look at you guys in conjunction with county commission meetings to,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good to have you right before or right after. What do we generally say?
We have our workshop April 18th and our board meeting April 26th.
Okay.
So Wednesday and a Thursday. You could do it the 17th or the 24th.
17th and the 24th. I'm gonna check something real quick. I'm liking the 24th possibly, if you guys,
The 17th is officially tax day, so I just want you to know.
okay.
That's Steve's birthday.
17th election day now.
Okay, so that probably would be a good day, you think?
The tax, the observations.
Because the way it's going, I may still be doing my taxes.
Yeah. So, you guys thinking the 24th? That would be a little over a month too, give us time to.
24th sounds good.
Okay. And again, I would just encourage us all as a group, including myself, to let's try to move forward on some of this stuff. And Jeff, a lot of it hinges on county commissioners and your communication with Deltona, I know that, but I'm not ready to make a move. I don't even know, I guess those bids that we got are still good. I mean, it's been 6 months or more. I can't even remember who all reached out to. I turned them into you guys. I don't have any copies of that, but to have the fountain fixed, but I mean, just the message we can send, all the messages we can send, the work we've been trying to do, it's very frustrating. Maybe I'm speaking for myself only, but it's extremely frustrating. Almost not worth doing, I mean, I hate to say that, but I do love my community and I want to be a part of it being positive and moving forward. So for now, I'm still in. But I want you guys to help us out, if you would. Because y'all, we serve it, out of respect for you, you guys brought us together. So we appreciate that. But please help us.
Well, I can tell you this, Brian, in my business, and Mr. Mr. Hopkins here, we can make a decision in about 30 seconds.
Yes, sir.
And get it done.
Yes, sir.
But with government, it's a lot slower, believe me, you know, it's frustrating.
Yes, sir.
It's frustrating for us too.
I know.
But there is a due process that we have to go through.
Right.
And we have to wait on a lot of things to get the information back to the attorneys and legals and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
I feel your pain, and we'd like to get it done, get finished with it too,
Right.
but we need it done the right way.
Well, and like-
Y'all are doing great, so,
Well,
Just be
you
patient.
know.
it's an honor to hear you say that because ultimately we serve you guys. I just know it's different. You know, we represent our community, and our community is setting those seeds right there. And over here, there's not a lot of people, you know, screaming and throwing things, and that's good. So,
Not in here anyway.
right. But my point is, they have the opportunity to come and speak. We make decisions for the community, and we pass it along to you guys, and we'd like to see them carried out. I think is what we're talking about. So, and again, I say that with the utmost respect, because I do have that for everybody. I just want to see us.
I can think of one thing that we've had brought before the commission and turned down this one.
Have not, you said?
I can think of one thing that MSBU recommended by board vote, by unanimous decision 5-0, and brought to the Board of County Commissioners that we haven't implemented.
I think then, like you guys said, the representation is what's hurting us. That administrator, whatever, what we call it, help me again?
It's a coordinator.
Coordinator, sorry.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, can you think of one that we not, that you
A
brought?
lot of, some things have died, you know, like I brought up the golf membership possibility.
No, you got, this is what I'm saying. That is passed your board 3-2-4-1-5-0 to come to the Board of County Commission that we have not implemented.
No, you've implemented every one, and you're the first one that did.
Yeah.
The previous board that I was on sent in a dozen resolutions, and not a single one of them ever got acted
We
on.
will never act on one board member's decision in the county commission. That's not what we set the board for. We would not do any of y'all justice doing that. We'd undermine the board. There's no reason to have a board if we're gonna take one person's comment and take it to the board and make a decision on the county commission level. So if you pass a motion 5-0, 3-2, 4-1, and we have not acted on it, then we failed you. But until that time, the Board of County Commission has done everything that we can do to enable you and help that board, and we will continue to do that.
You have, absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying.
Thank you, sir. With that, we went 24th, we're good on the 24th?
24th, that's fine.
24th, our next meeting, same place, same time, 6 o'clock. So until then, the Sunny Hills MSBU Advisory Committee stands in adjournment.